Hi guys, so yeah, I just want to chat a bit about good pain versus bad pain. Now, straight off the bat, I would just want to say I'm not a doctor, I'm not necessarily a pain expert from a medical point of view. Um, I'm not telling people to do stupid exercises and continue through pain, or that you shouldn't stop if you feel pain. I'm not saying any of those. The main reason I wanted to chat about this was because, specifically obviously with fibro and issues like that, is that it's hard to do anything really without feeling some kind of pain, especially if you want to get out of a hole that you're in. You want to start getting fitter, and when I mean fitter, I mean however much that is, even if it's just a little bit fitter. That's something you have to be aware of, is that it's not all about, when somebody says fitter, it shouldn't mean, you shouldn't have this image in your head of running laps around the neighbourhood, lifting cars. I don't know. Fitter is just better than where you are now, which is a good thing. And then you can get fitter than that, and then you can get fitter than that. So back to the pain, it's pretty impossible almost, from my experience anyway. Comment down below if you can work out and you can do exercise without pain and you have fibromyalgia. I'd love to know. In my experience, the two things were impossible: no pain and progression with fibromyalgia and other issues. I'm just going with fibro because obviously I have that, so I have experience with that, and I'm talking from experience. That's what these sessions are about. It's basically talking about what I've found. So yeah, I physically cannot get progression without some kind of pain. Even if it's just while I'm doing it. The amount of burn I get when I do weights and things like that, I just have to get used to it in a good way. But not just get used to it, you have to understand it so that you know where it's okay, basically. And again, just talking from experience. Because a while back, I think I just assumed that everyone felt the same way. And I was explaining to somebody at a personal training event, another personal trainer, I was explaining to him how even on my first rep, I burned straight away. And he seemed quite puzzled. He was like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, and to be fair, in some ways, the burn actually gets easier the more I do in some ways. The burn's worse when you start. Now, I think with fibro, that is a definite thing. I think sometimes people don't do anything because when you first start doing anything, the burn is horrific. Especially if you've not been doing a lot for a while, you're seized up, the burn is just, wow, it's just too much. It's like, this can't be good for me, possibly. Now that's tricky because obviously sometimes the pain can be very severe. It's a tough one because it's quite dependent on you. Obviously, if you've had injuries in the past, that will specifically flare up as well. I've had a broken hand. The bone still basically broke. That's a problem area for me. It does hurt. But again, knowing where not to push that and where just some ache after doing, say, like curls or something, because it's putting pressure on here, I will get ache. I will get ache there, and I just know that I will. Now, if I start getting shooting pains through it, I stop. But that's actually quite rare. So I would say a good kind of pain is generally feels like muscle burn in some ways, like a lactic acid burn. It tends to pulse, it tends to squeeze in, but after you've rested a bit, it tends to sort of ease out like this relatively quickly. Tends to squeeze and then release, squeeze and then release. That's what I found from experience, is a pain that is just inevitable. Now, if you find that burn is just going to continue, you do one thing and that burn just stays there, indefinitely, I would say just massively scale back what you're doing. There's almost no lower limit to how much you can scale back exercises as long as you're focused on what the exercise movement is supposed to be. You can massively slow down, or if that's not an issue, because sometimes slowing down with a muscle actually it makes it harder. You can just do a couple of reps, rest, couple of reps, rest. As long as you're consistent and that you try and get some kind of volume, that you don't just stop instantly as soon as something burns. The thing is, it will burn straight away, especially if you haven't been doing much. Now, I would say a bad kind of pain, and again, these are just examples. I'd love actually to hear some comments from people, their pains, the different kind of pains they deal with. I'd love to actually hear about your pain, not for some sadistic issue, don't worry. It sounded a bit weird, didn't it? I'd love to hear about your pain. So, getting back to bad pain, I would say is where, say, if you can feel it like it's in your bone. It's in your bone, like say your arm. I know that my sister also has fibro, and I know that she gets severe pain in the shoulder, in the arm, and I know other people do as well. I tend to get it in my shoulders, both shoulders. I don't. Sorry, I have to start again. My alarm just went off. So yeah, I get pain in my shoulders mainly. I'm trying to think of not just muscle pain, obviously in my back and other places, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like joint or bone pain. It tends to be in my shoulders. I would say if it feels like it's in the bone, it's really intense, almost like twisting pain, I would stop what you're doing. Now, the only issue with that is that I know people, and myself, that have struggled with that kind of pain for a long period of time, and often I found the only way to get out of it is with some kind of exercise. So this is where we have the dilemma of it makes us hurt, but also long term it actually helps pain. I have referenced this in another video, that a lot of these exercises, they will help with pain in the long run, because I've always found if I don't work out I'm talking, if I don't, again, work out, let's say I don't do any exercises for a period of time, I will get to the point where I'm in so much pain with my back that I in my head, I have to do an exercise. I have to. And that's where the resistance bands, I love the resistance band chest expansion, because I find that is awesome for releasing that tension. So I'm going to do a couple of videos actually on seated exercises and things like that. And I think the way you have to look at exercises like that is throw in the bin the idea that people, not just people, but the media throw at you about exercises. Think about it more as it's serving a purpose in your life, which it should anyway. That's what exercises should be doing. It's serving the purpose of getting the blood in the muscle, getting the muscles contracting, squeezing out. Even right now, I'm actually feeling like I need to do some. And just oiling almost your body. And the reps and getting the burn and everything, you will get muscle strength in there. And that's the point over time, that you want to increase the muscle strength and your mobility and everything else, so you have a better quality of life. But right in that moment of feeling that pain, sometimes you just need something to release it. So yeah, sorry, I'm waffling on. I will do a few videos, I think, on pain, to be fair, because it's such a big issue, and I don't have all the answers, obviously. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts and where I'm at with it and what I found with my pain. So yeah, I will be doing other videos on it, 100%. So yeah, getting back to the bone pain, I find sometimes it's a case of you have to leave it. I've had days where, for almost no apparent reason, I felt like one of my bones is broken. And I've heard from other people that they have the same thing. So obviously you can't work through that, and don't worry about it. I've generally found that it tends to not be a continuous thing. It tends to come and go, and when it's gone, work it out, work that muscle out. Obviously, when that continues for a long time, I mean, I would say under normal circumstances, get it looked at the doctor. But again, from my experience, it doesn't tend to be anything they can help with. With fibro, it tends to be like, well, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your nerves and your muscles and just over-firing often, and it just kind of freaks out. But I think often muscle tension is behind a lot of this pain. Now again, not scientifically proven. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like some of these extreme pains can come from, say, connecting muscles. I mean, all muscles connect, obviously, but like muscles that lie underneath other muscles, stabilizing muscles, say in the shoulder, because you've got so many like little muscles, underneath muscles supporting. And I think that with fibro, it doesn't take much for one of those muscles to get a bit tight underneath, start making some discomfort, and all of a sudden you can get some shooting pains, you can get some really bad aches underneath. There's a lot of things going on in your body. Obviously, it's the connecting muscles, it's the supporting muscles, it's the more little dense muscle with lots of connective tissue and things that seem to hurt a lot. Hands and shoulders, which have lots of little muscles all holding everything together. The back has got so many muscles branching off underneath the larger muscles. It's got so many, because if it was just about muscle pain and just hurting, I would find that probably my quads would probably hurt the most, because they're one of the largest muscles in your body. Obviously there's lots of muscles, but it's a big slab of muscle. You think, well, they're going to hurt the most, aren't they? But I personally don't find my quads actually hurt the most out of all the other muscles in my body. I'm talking about specific pain here. I'm talking about the really bad pain. Obviously everything can ache, we all know that. But I'm talking about the really, really bad pain that you get. So yeah, I think I've waffled on enough. I will be doing more videos on this, 100%. I wasn't sure when I first started talking about it, but it's just such a big issue, and I'd love to hear some comments and look deeper into it. So yeah, that's my general talk this time. I've kind of gone all over the place. I hope I hope you can follow it, but that's just how I work, unfortunately. So yeah, comment below and see you on the next one.